It's a real honor to welcome you all here today to this very special occasion. The St. Catherine's Hall of Fame ceremony is something that brings people together, so many great people who would never otherwise maybe necessarily have a reason to be in the same room. My name is Julie Dayton. I'm the Director of Athletics. I think I've met most everyone, but thank you all so much for being here. We have a lot of special guests with us today and several previous St. Catherine's Hall of Fame inductees. And I just would like to ask them to stand. There's an awful lot to name. So if you all will stand, our previous St. Catherine's Hall of Famers. We also have many people joining us today who have really been a backbone to helping this event come to life. Theodora Miller and her marketing team, especially Jennifer Harder and Dale Edmondson. Theodora and Jennifer in the back, if you'll just give a little wave. Carol Kiger is our events coordinator, and really she's the master of attention to detail. I'm grateful for Carol's influence and support of the Hall of Fame and in general of Saints Athletics. There's many, Carol, where are you, please? Working, of course. Thank you, Carol, for everything. And the Saints Athletic boosters are here, several of our booster members. If you all will just raise your hand. The boosters did everything from the flowers to all kinds of details. So thank you to all of our Saints Athletic boosters. Bethany Tybel is an amazing help, and she's also in the way back. I just wouldn't even be standing up here today without her help. And Sharon Arrington, our Assistant Athletic Director. Sharon, where are you? Yeah, she's my voice of reason and my right-hand person in so many ways. Anyway, there's 101 details in something like this, and seeing you all here today makes it all so much worth it. I hope you enjoy your wonderful meal provided by the Country Club of Virginia chefs. We are grateful to the Country Club and their partnership with us. Carol helps arrange all of this. So we are looking forward to a good afternoon. I would like to invite our head of school, Dr. Terry Sheckelhoff, to the podium for a moment, followed by the invocation by the Reverend Whitney Zimmerman Edwards, who is also a teammate and classmate of two of our inductees today, Whitney Kestner and Claire Smith. Dr. Sheckelhoff.
She's small, but she's mighty. So welcome today. It's always a joy when we can come together and celebrate very strong, determined, loyal, tenacious women who not only have done great things in their lives for themselves, I hope they have that inner peace and satisfaction, but they've been role models for all of our girls and young women. And so today is a day just to pause and to honor them through the Athletics Hall of Fame. So I thank you for your time, just all of your spirit, and we're sure glad you're a part of St. Catherine's. For your families and your friends who are here, it's extra special to be able to have us here as a community. Thank you and have a wonderful luncheon today. Whitney.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Terry and Julie, for this honor to be a part of this. And thank you all in joining me in prayer. Would you bow your heads, please? The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Holy and gracious God, we thank you for calling us together in celebration of the sacred grounds of St. Catherine's, which raised many of us. In that place, you have faithfully fostered generations of young women so that their God-given gifts could come to fruition. We invite your blessings upon this luncheon, our fellowship, and especially upon the women whose inspiring accomplishments we have gathered to celebrate. May you pour your spirit upon these women as they share their thoughtful reflections, and upon us all, especially those of us who have been blessed to call ourselves their teammates, coaches, teachers, classmates, friends, and families. God, you have been so faithful to all of us in the past. May you be as faithful to the young women of the future, fortunate to call St. Catherine's home. In the name of your graceful and loving Holy Spirit, we pray. Amen.
St. Catherine's, as you know, has a rich and excellent tradition in athletics, and we are excited to recognize those individuals who have helped fortify and shape the St. Catherine's School athletic program. St. Catherine's has had teams for over 100 years. That's a milestone far ahead of most area colleges and high schools. Many pioneering young women love to compete, wear the school colors, and enjoy the camaraderie of being on a team. The tradition of excellence continues, and we are thrilled to introduce our 2020 Hall of Fame class to celebrate the many great women, great coaches, and others who have enhanced and created this outstanding history. Today is about relationships. Relationships resulting from shared experiences, relationships that have the common thread of sports, the meaningful relationships with those who helped along the way. No one makes this journey alone, and in some way, many in this room today have made the journey with our Hall of Famers. For our Hall of Famers, whether this is your first Hall of Fame or your fifth Hall of Fame, we want today to be etched in your mind forever as a very special day being inducted into the St. Catherine's Hall of Fame. We honor you today. Congratulations to all of you. And at this time, I would like to ask our Assistant Head of School, Sue Baldwin, to come up and present Augusta Chapman Bunting, class of 47.
Good afternoon. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Augusta Chapman Bunting, a saint from the class of 1947. I first met her in 1984 when my dear friend Peggy Ross, former middle school director, introduced me to her good friend Augusta. I have been blessed by Augusta's friendship ever since, for she is a woman of substance, a woman of deep faith, an avid community volunteer, an accomplished athlete and coach, and a woman who possesses a loving heart and a rich sense of humor. The American entrepreneur Marshall Field, who founded the Chicago-based department stores that bear his name, always expected his employees to remember 12 things: the value of time, the success of perseverance, the pleasure of working, the dignity of simplicity, the worth of character, the power of kindness, the influence of example, the obligation of duty, the wisdom of economy, the virtue of patience, the improvement of talent, and the joy of origination. What I have learned about Augusta over these past 30 years is that she embodies all of these qualities. While I never saw her play any of the sports in which she excelled, I have talked to women who were coached by her at West Hampton College, and they shared with me their love and admiration for the woman who inspired them in the classroom and on the athletic field. They felt that she did lead by example as she taught them and helped them improve their skills and be the kind of team members who supported one another and who modeled the best in sportsmanship. When I met her, Augusta was retired, early I think, and living in Urbana. She and Peggy, along with several other ladies, were very close friends who shared outings on the golf course, on the tennis court, boating on the river, and hiking trails together. They were a jolly group, and they periodically met in Richmond so that they could swap stories and update each other on happenings in their lives. These sessions were always followed by a joyous meal together, which usually began with a sung blessing. Johnny Appleseed was a favorite. They called themselves the Ladies' Supper Club. So imagine my excitement when I, as a baby boomer, was invited to join the greatest generation for dinner one evening at one of their favorite spots, the Crazy Greek. It was a night I shall never forget because I laughed so hard my sides were aching when I returned home. I was fascinated by their stories, which never lost their luster, no matter how many times I heard them. And sometimes I heard them with a bit of a different twist. I looked forward to invitations to commune with this group of ladies. Being the new kid on the block, I learned much more from them than they ever learned from me. However, I was always keenly aware that Augusta took the time to draw me in, to ask my opinion, to learn about my family, my husband and my children, and to share my passion for the school we loved, St. Catherine's. Sometimes conversations turned to discussions of recent Sunday school lessons, being the biblical scholars that they were. Or Peggy would regale the group with middle school stories, and I can attest to there being plenty of those. Or Augusta would talk about her days at West Hampton and the girls that she coached. And then there were the occasional bouts of one-upmanship regarding the latest round of golf or the recent tennis match. Augusta always had a kind word for everyone, for her insights into people made them feel that they were valued. Her quick wit was masterful, and I would say that there were sometimes duels between Peggy and Augusta for the right to claim the most one-liners in an evening. The twinkle in her eyes, the gap-toothed smile, was something that endeared us to Augusta, and I can tell you that when she was in the room, all was right with the world. There was a peacefulness and a calmness that radiated from her. One of the most joyous times for me in my relationship with Augusta was her late-in-life marriage to the Reverend Jerry Bunting, an Episcopal priest who served many Virginia churches. Jerry also happens to be in the William and Mary Basketball Hall of Fame, and he was named the most valuable player of the Southern Conference basketball tournament in 1948. I've always thought that they probably connected on more than Sunday school lessons and homilies. Peggy and I traveled to the wedding and were among the last to leave the party when I whispered to Peggy and said, "We can't go on the honeymoon with them. We need to head back to Richmond." Following their marriage, Augusta and Jerry opened their home to us for weekend visits. We learned that retirement had not slowed them down one bit, for they were constantly golfing or out in the boat fishing or hunting wild turkey. Yes, Augusta donned her camouflage and went out in the woods to hunt with Jerry, ever the adventuresome athlete. I happened to take my 5th grade daughter and her friend on one of these glorious weekend visits to the Buntings. Augusta had insisted that everyone was welcome, even to tweeners. We arrived to find puzzles and games for the girls, favorite foods including fresh fish caught that very day, and fun times for all, from rocking on the porch to walks and delicious picnics on the beach, overlooking the beautiful water near their home. Being the dog lover that I am, I was particularly fond of Pearl, the hunting dog, who often curled up at our feet as we laughed and talked. These were wonderful days. Augusta's work in her church and at the community closet were parts of the weekly routine that I knew about, but I'm pretty sure there are many things I did not know about. Watching basketball games, writing wonderful notes to friends, staying active and loving life were hallmarks of her personality. But she was never too busy to take time for others. The comedian George Burns used to say, "Keep working as long as you can. Remember, you can't help getting older, but you don't have to get old." They say that life begins at 40, but that's silly. Life begins every morning when you wake up. Open your mind to it. Don't just sit there. Do things. Got that, Gracie? And that is how Augusta has lived her life. Active, doing things. First playing field hockey and serving as captain of the basketball team at St. Catherine's, coaching hockey, swimming, basketball, and other sports at the college level, playing golf and tennis, fishing, hiking, and yes, turkey hunting in her later years. Always caring for others in all the ways she could. And let us not forget that she is one of the women who got the ball rolling at St. Catherine's. Today, we have championship banners galore. Just walk into our Kinney Center and look at them. Many of our graduates are playing at colleges and universities around the country. We are the envy of other schools because of our athletic accomplishments. Thank you, Augusta, for leading the way. You have lived your life with purpose, a caring heart, and deep faith. You have plunged deeply into the thick of life, and we are all better for it. God bless.
Congratulations, Augusta. I'm going to bring you your award. Those are good stories. At this time, I'd like to ask, presenting Natalie Easterly, class of 73, is her sister, Ty Easterly Antrim.
Hello, everyone. Excuse me. Hello, everyone. I am Ty Easterly Antrim, and I am happy to be here with my sister Natalie for her induction. Thank you. For her induction into the St. Catherine's Athletic Hall of Fame. While Natalie excelled at field hockey and basketball, her true love has always been golf. Her accomplishments are many. Let's start in 1971 when she was runner-up in the Virginia State Golf Association Junior Golf Championship. She went on to win 4 VSGA tournaments and was runner-up on 7 occasions. The VSGA has recognized Natalie as Women's Golfer of the Year and twice as Senior Women's Golfer of the Year, most recently in 2018. She has won the Country Club of Virginia's Women's Tournament 11 times and City of Richmond's Championship 5 times. She teamed up with Amy Ellertson to win the VSGA Senior 4-Ball Tournament and the Transnational Golf Tournament. Natalie has represented our state of Virginia in various team championships through the VSGA and the United States Golf Association, highlighted by her serving as captain of the Virginia team in the Virginia Carolinas Match Play Championship, which they won, an event she has played in for 18 years. And in 2007, she not only qualified for the United States Golf Association Senior Women's Amateur Championship. She made it to the final round of 16 in the match play. Natalie has grudgingly let me summarize her golf exploits, but she's not about pursuing titles. Competition is fun, but it's the love of the game that drives her. And now I'm pleased to give you Natalie Easterly.
Hello, everybody. That's my sister. Is she a sweetheart or what? Whew, let me get my breath here. Okay. I want to thank you, Ty, and I want to thank the God of my understanding before I begin this little snippet of my life. It's great to be honored here today with my fellow inductees that I've gotten to know a little bit in the last few hours, being inducted into the St. Catherine's Athletic Hall of Fame. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Augusta, can you hear me? Congratulations to each of you, and I really look forward to hearing about your accomplishments later on. I want to thank St. Catherine's and especially Julie Dayton, Athletic Director Extraordinaire, her staff, the Country Club of Virginia for this beautiful setting and the beautiful lunch, and their staff for helping this event to take place and for giving us here a lot of joy in the moment. St. Catherine's was a wonderful place in which to grow and learn. This was the first place I enjoyed playing sports, both individual and team. A standout in my memory was Mrs. Bedell. I don't know if you all remember Ms. Bedell. A gym teacher who made playing sports really fun, especially golf, tennis, and field hockey. During that time, I began to love golf. There were many people kind and generous enough to support me and mentor me and guide me along my quest to learn and grow and improve in the game. Without their help, I would not have had goals or dreams with my golf. A few of those people are with us today. Nancy Williams. Nancy, can you stand up? Do you mind standing up? Now, this is when I want to get choked up. Nancy Williams encouraged me, stop it, encouraged me to keep on playing as a teenager. Like so many teenagers, I had mixed emotions about doing what my parents wanted me to do, and took me to my first VSGA amateur in Hot Springs, Virginia at the Cascades. I have such wonderful memories of cucumber and tomato sandwiches, tailgating on the back of her car with friends that had just competed, and we hashed the round and griped about shots we missed. For years we played together, and I shattered her successes. Nancy taught me through watching her the real meaning of hard work, sportsmanship, and love of the game. Got to stop looking at her. The love of the game was an essential ingredient to getting better and being passionate about the journey. Nancy continues to dedicate her time to many young girls at St. Catherine's. She's just told me 13 are already committed to schools for golf. It's pretty amazing. And she's been doing this for decades, so thank you to Nancy. Marty Lear. Marty, do you think you could stand? Thank you, Marty. And his wife, Barbara. Of course, Marty couldn't have done anything without Barbara. Marty Lear is a PGA pro here in Richmond and took an interest in me and many other young adults as a player decades ago. I took lessons from Marty in all aspects of the game: putting, chipping, pitching, long game. And he mentored me about the mental part of the game, both on the golf course and off the golf course, because there's a lot of game going on off the golf course, believe me. Marty continues to teach and mentor players at Independence Golf Course as well as other places. And he continues to give a lot of people his wisdom. If you want to know anything about golf, please talk to him after the lunch. Thank you to both of you for helping me so much along the way, and especially for your friendship. Where would I be without them helping me at such a young age with golf? That's the real question. Everybody contributes so much into making us be who we are. It's no accident, I don't think. It would not be right to not mention the friends that have cheered me on so quietly on the sidelines when especially in a golf slump. Ann Snyder, a longtime friend, and Karen McDowell, a true inspiration. Booty McGurn, a friend and true competitor, has challenged me to do my best, and Amy Ellison, my golf partner, who continues to inspire me and encourage me every time we tee it up. And then, of course, I've got my St. Cat's friends. I've got Molly Meem here and Carol Cogger, and there's so many other people that I love here. And those friends really help you along the way. And lastly, my family deserves high credit for anything I have accomplished in life. Of course, there's Dad, who loved the game and passed on that love and bitter desire to win and compete. Dad was pretty keen on the technical and movement part of the game, and I have wonderful memories of him ordering me to sit on the ground over here, just right over here, at a very young age, and he would ask me to analyze his swing. I want you to tell me if my elbow's this way. I want you to tell me about my knee. I want you to tell me about my foot. What's my butt doing? And, so on and so forth. Mom was always on my cheering squad for all I did in life, especially golf. Maybe some of you remember Naney Fleming, a beloved member of Country Club of Virginia in the golfing community, and friends with my mom and me. And she used to tell Mom every chance she could get, "Mary, let Natalie play golf and stop all that working." And I wish I could, Naney, but honestly needed to make a living and work hard, so thanks for your vote of confidence. And what would I have done without my sister Ty, who excels at life in so many ways? She won't let me tell you how, but anyway, she's quite an athlete herself. She has been a major support and friend off the golf course, there for me through the vicissitudes of life, and I really love you, Tiger. Thank you. And most importantly, a toast to my wife, my life partner, best friend, Virginia Evans. Would you stand, Virginia, please? Thank you. Without her constant love and unselfish support, I would not be where I am in life in general. Thank you so much. Competing for years, I just have this to say in closing. You win some, you lose some. And choosing to show up, suit up, and take the risk is 95% of the joy of the journey. Thank you.
Presenting Charlotte Fox is a lifetime friend, Janie Sellers, from the class of '75.
My earliest memory of Charlotte Fox is on a dock at Lake Summit when we were 6. I was sitting on my towel and wanted to play Go Fish. And she wanted to perfectly align every damp towel by color and size over the dock rail. That summer day should have been a clue of Charlotte's drive and determination and discipline and a little bit of obsession. Everything Charlotte did for the next 50 years, she did it in a big, big way. And she did it with that same drive and determination and discipline and obsession. She loved big and she loved fiercely. She loved St. Catherine's, where she became Foxy instead of Charlotte. St. Catherine's was a haven from her life as an only child in the midst of a divorce battlefield. She loved boarding life. She loved the outdoor club. She loved the athletics. She loved her St. Christopher boy. She loved the family that St. Catherine's gave her. When she loved big, she lost big. She loved 3 men in her life. One she lost to suicide, one to an avalanche, and one to a hang gliding accident. Charlotte gave big, and she gave generously to the projects and the people and the philanthropies that she loved. She gave her money, but she gave her time to schools and pet protection and land preservation and people. She pursued big challenges. At a time when people embraced the familiar and the known, she left everything behind and moved out west. With no more ski training than those St. Catherine's February ski trips to Wintergreen, she was hired for a big job, the first female on the Aspen Ski Patrol team. When Charlotte decided to begin rock climbing, she did it big, as you can see in your program. The numerous peaks that she summited are now part of a public record. And in every other kind of exercise, she went big. Going for a jog at figure 8 was never 4 or 5 miles. It was 14 or 15, even when parts of her toes were missing from frostbite. And yet, when she survived a disastrous night that killed 8 people, she sought no fame, no financial gain, no book tours, speaking tours. Instead, she came to Charlotte Country Day School with all of her climbing gear and sat down on the floor with my son's 5th grade class. The topic of that tragic night on Everest never came up. She in fact saved another person's life. All the big things about Charlotte were remarkably small in her eyes. Now, I should add right here that Charlotte had a big, wide, naughty streak and a big, boisterous laugh to go with it. But to go any further with this, I need a beer and my dorm room at St. Catherine's. But of all the memories of Charlotte, from the dock at Lake Summit to the bunk beds at St. Catherine's, double dating, debbing, and dancing in college, and side-by-side beach chairs on the beach every summer, the two that will be forever indelible on my mind are first, Charlotte's wedding. Once again, it was done in a big way. On top of a mountain accessible by helicopter, Charlotte with a garland of flowers in her hair, ringed round with ski bums and dogs and outdoor enthusiasts and her small family and me in my maid of honor suit from Talbot's and her outsized happiness. The second day is the day of her funeral, when once again we were on a mountaintop. And her ashes were ringed round with ski bums and dogs, outdoor enthusiasts, Tibetan prayer flags, and me again in my Jack Rogers sandals. Big in life, big in death, and uniquely Charlotte to the end.
Some of Charlotte's classmates from the class of 1975 are also here. Will you all stand, please? That was a beautiful tribute, and I'm thinking there's not a lot of halos at that table if they were friends with Charlotte. And Judy Carpenter, who is also a classmate, was able to get Charlotte's ski patrol uniform, which is in the back in the sort of archives place where some of our inductees have brought some archival things for us to see. Presenting Whitney Parker Kestner, class of 1994, is her brother, James Parker.
Thank you, Julie and Terry, for this fantastic weekend honoring all of these amazing women. Again, my name is James Parker, Whitney's little brother. As a teenager, watching Whitney's athletic career unfold, I don't think I can say I fully appreciated at that time how special of an athlete my older sister was. I certainly recognized her talent and perhaps most of all, her sheer determination and will. Thankfully, and over time, my admiration for her has grown exponentially. And certainly after experiencing my own athletic career and maturing at least a little bit. She was the model athlete, teammate, and captain who made everyone around her better. Her numerous accolades are a testament to that. Whitney had it all, and that is why we are here today to celebrate her amazing athletic career at St. Catherine's. My early memories of Whitney's athletic pursuits are from the swimming pool. I can picture her then, quiet, serious, and focused, and my dad, of course, by her side. She always had plenty of nerves, but was very humble in spite of her many wins in the pool. Her raw talent placed her above most of the competition. But her competitive spirit and will to win made her great. I think my dad had a little bit to do with that. The bags of ribbons and medals that she accumulated as a young swimmer didn't hurt at all to boost her confidence. But she would never show it, gloat, or do anything of that kind. I think we have our mom to thank for that. At St. Catherine's, she turned her attention to field hockey, basketball, and her love, lacrosse. She excelled at them all. And I have a lasting and enduring image of Whitney repeated many times, probably every game in each sport over all those years. You can picture a loose ball, a rush to it by teammates and opponents alike. Then Whitney would emerge bursting from the scrum, victorious with the ball, oftentimes, most of the time, leaving many, if not all, behind her, lying on the ground in utter shock and defeat. She was a force of nature, and it was awesome to witness. I can only imagine how many opponents dreaded matching up with her, but I can commiserate a little, having done so many times in one-on-one basketball games in our driveway. However, as quickly as she might run over an opponent on her way to the goal or to the ball, she was just as quick to make sure that person was okay and help them up, always showing great sportsmanship. And that's just another thing I love and admire about her. Genuinely kind and caring off the field and after the whistle, but tenacious and determined on it always. As a leader and a captain, Whitney led her teams in the most effective way she could, by her example. She always gave the maximum effort and would never give up. Her confidence was infectious and encouraging amongst her teammates, and no matter the opponent. Her team's successes are proof of that. I'm sure that she tried her best to be more vocal as a captain and a senior, but that's really not in her personality, and she would never force it. Thankfully, she had Claire Parrish on those great hockey and lacrosse teams to be the vocal leader. With those two, you had a championship formula that only coaches dream of. There was one accolade that I don't think many people were aware of, and that was her competitive games played streak. I wasn't even aware of it until one time I came home from around college and found a Richmond Times-Dispatch article that my parents had saved. The article gave praise to Whitney for her storied Washington and Lee athletic career, where she was a two-time All-American, but it spoke more about the competitive game streak that broke her senior year. Until that time, she had played in consecutively 5 years, 3 sports at St. Catherine's, 8th grade to 12th, and then 3.5 years at at W&L before suffering a hamstring injury that set her back briefly her senior year. The article mentioned her in the same breath as Cal Ripken. For me, a lifelong Orioles fan who claimed Cal as his idol growing up, this was truly amazing. I was a little shocked, but she was the Iron Woman to Cal's Iron Man. Cal Ripken, my childhood idol. But when I really think about it, my older sister was my idol. She was the one I watched in so many practices and games, giving her very best. She's the one I learned from. She showed me how to compete, work hard, stay humble, and be kind. And so it brings me no greater pleasure to introduce her for this most deserving honor. And I want to thank her for being a wonderful role model who inspired me and many others on and off the field. Congratulations, Whit.
Thank you, James. Might have just sat down a little bit. Younger brother, but bigger. Thank you. Good afternoon, and congratulations to all of you. I'm actually in such awe of your accomplishments and feel so honored to be joined with you all today. It's a special honor to be included in this celebration of women, and also very wonderful to share this day with my dear friend and teammate, Claire Parrish-Smith, who is on the slopes celebrating a wedding with her friend. So while I wish she was here with us, truth be told, we can more easily dote on Claire and share how amazing she is without her here to protest. I had the pleasure of having dinner with Claire, as well as 3 friends from St. Catherine's a few weeks ago. We grabbed an early dinner in Charlottesville, easily fell into conversation, even though our lives are moving in 1,000,001 different directions. Whitzy, Mary Price, Mary New, Claire, and me. As you can tell, I haven't adopted their married names quite yet, but I've known these women all of my life. I know their families, I know their partners, and I know their children, furry and biological. So this is what St. Catherine's is to me. It is the bond of friendship with some amazing women. So as we celebrate these wonderful athletic accomplishments, what I'm celebrating is the wonderful people I have met on this St. Catherine's journey. We are also here to pay gratitude to an incredible opportunity, many opportunities that this school has afforded us. So for me, and likely these women here, playing on sports teams has been a huge part of my education. I've been a part of some great teams. I've had some amazing teammates, but I definitely put Claire up there at the top. All told, we played 10 seasons together, 5 hockey, 5 lacrosse. And as you know, Claire went on to play lacrosse at UVA, and I went on to play at W&L. The UVA women's coach, Julie Myers, was Claire's coach. She has been instrumental in promoting girls lacrosse in Charlottesville. And she founded the girls' travel team, Cavlax, that my daughter Lee now plays on. One of Claire's UVA teammates, Peggy Boudelier-Williams, is also involved in Cavlax, and I've had such pleasure getting to know both women. When I shared with Julie and Peggy that Claire was being inducted into the Hall of Fame, their excitement was palpable. Both wanted to share a few words, and both cited the exact same example. In her 4th year at UVA, Claire switched from playing attack to playing goalie. Who does that? Claire. In Peggy's words, despite those accomplishments as a team, I'll always remember how Claire started and played the entire game in our victory against Richmond. Yes, as crazy as it sounds, in the goal. She put aside her comfort as an attacker and gave it her all as a goalie for the #1 ranked team in the country. Crazy and selfish and admirable, she was and is the ultimate team player, a true champion. And Julie shared, and mind you, Claire played for her over 20 years ago, and however many players she's had in that time. But she remembers that Claire was always the first to compliment a teammate and to give them a chance to shine. She was one of the best teammates in the locker room, on the practice field, on a sideline, really anywhere. She encouraged and supported and believed in everyone with her true and full heart. She never let a bad or hard day show. Her mindset and attitude were constantly and consistently exceptional. I have 2 children. My daughter Lee is in 7th grade, and my son Jones is in 5th. Both love sports and are active in basketball. We have 2 games later today. Soccer, swimming, baseball, golf, and lacrosse. We talk often about the importance of sportsmanship and being a good teammate. And what I want for them, can I see you, Jones? And what I want for them is I want for them to be the teammate and the friend that Claire is. Julie's and Peggy's words are such a powerful reminder that it is our attitude that will always matter more than any scoreboard. These stories are also a great illustration of how through athletic competition we can challenge ourselves, push ourselves, and grow as people. There's no question that playing sports has given me confidence and helped me more fully develop to be the mom, wife, friend, and colleague that I am. I have found myself reflecting over this over the years as I have coached Lee's lacrosse team. She's played with Cavlax for almost 4 years, and we've had the same core group of girls during that time. It has been a thrill to watch as the trust and the bond has grown amongst these girls. The life lessons, the wins, the defeats, how to work as part of a team towards a larger goal, all the practices and drills and sacrifices, all of it, seeing these girls develop as individuals and as teammates has been so fulfilling and made me fall in love with sports all over again. I am grateful to so many people, and fortunately, so many of them are in this room. I've had the pleasure of meeting Julie and her team. Thank you so much for putting on today, coordinating this event. Thank you to my many teachers, both in the classroom and on the courts and fields of St. Catherine's. How wonderful to reconnect with Coach Carrington and Coach Southworth. It's wonderful to have Sally Stillwell here. I am grateful to her for her leadership and her guidance in high school, not only as a coach, but as a mentor. I thought and still think Sally is pretty darn awesome. It's not very often I have the chance to thank my family in such a public way, so I will use that now. I'm lucky to be joined by my husband, David, who is my favorite teammate, my daughter, Lee, and Jones, my son, Jones, my incredible parents, who are my biggest fans. I'm happy that James and his wife, Molly, are here as well. Their children, Blair and Jimmy, are continuing with the Parker legacy here at St. Catherine's and St. Christopher's. Thank you to my extended family, including the Prices, for being here. Being a parent has taught me a lot, but it has definitely underscored how much my parents have done for me over the years. It is they who gave me the opportunity to attend St. Catherine's, gain a stellar education, and to make some of my dearest friends. They are the ones who supported me every step of the way through my athletic endeavors. They are also the ones who supported me. For the record, I did not thank them enough for shuttling me to practices, driving across the mid-Atlantic, for swim meets and games and everything in between. They cheered me up when I was down and celebrated every milestone. And my dad is always good for a story or two about the glory days. As you can tell, sports are a family affair for us. Some of my favorite memories are of my grandfather on the sidelines of the lacrosse games on the green, wearing his good luck green pants. My dad made the commitment to go to every W&L game my senior year. And while he doesn't wear the green pants, my dad and my mom are carrying on that tradition of being on the sidelines in the pool deck to watch Lee and Jones do what they do. A special thank you to my brother James for nominating me. James was my first teammate, throwing the football and baseball in the yard, shooting hoops in the driveway. I was so humbled to learn that it was James who helped make this happen, so thank you. To close, I am grateful to have played lacrosse, basketball, and hockey at St. Catherine's. That win over Stab, when apparently our bus broke down, I didn't even remember, but that win over Stab my senior year in lacrosse was pretty sweet. But it is the friends that I made and the life lessons that I learned along the way that mean the most. Thank you to everyone here for celebrating strong female athletes. And thank you to Claire, who might be watching, for showing us how to be the ultimate teammate and friend.
Presenting Carrington Croft Mulrooney, class of 2006, is her niece, Fielding Croft, class of 2025. Okay, she's taller than I am already.
Good afternoon. I'm Fielding Croft, a 7th grader at St. Catherine's and the oldest niece of Carrington Croft Mulrooney. At St. Catherine's, my Aunt Carrington was known as the class of 2006 June Queen, a kind, uplifting, and compassionate friend in the classroom, and a beast on the field. She was a jack of all trades in athletics and could be counted on to excel in most any sport she tried. She earned a total of 14 varsity letters, her first 2 in track and field when she was younger than I am right now. Carrington earned 4 letters in basketball, serving as team captain as a junior. In lacrosse, she also earned 4 letters, and in her senior year was named team captain, and an academic All-American. Carrington earned 4 letters in field hockey and was named to the All-Metro, All-State, and All-LIS teams in both 11th and 12th grades, in addition to being named team captain and Richmond Metro Player of the Year as a senior. Her athletic career didn't end when she graduated. She carried her talents forward to the team, winning national club champions 2 years and being selected as team captain in her 4th year. She also continued her love for the sports and her dedication to cultivating a positive environment for young girls by serving as a referee for high school and Division III field hockey and lacrosse games. Carrington has created a larger-than-life legacy for me and her 4 other nieces, 3 who currently attend St. Catherine's. And while she covered almost every sport, I will say, Aunt Carrington, you've left a few gaps for us Croft girls to fill in for you. In all seriousness, though, while this is a huge honor for her, she's still my Aunt Carrington, the one who plans afternoons of cookie decorating and crafting for us, the one I go to brunch with, just the 2 of us, to talk about school, clothes, and yes, boys. The one I want to be like when I grow up, no matter what sport I play, or whether I play any sport at all. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my Aunt Carrington Croft Mulrooney.
Thank you, Fielding. That was very sweet. I am just so absolutely honored to be standing here today among so many phenomenal women who are being inducted. Now, I'm a little bit more accustomed to speaking to a room full of elementary schoolers these days, so I really want to thank my husband, Sean, and my whole family that's here supporting me, because this is a little different crowd than I'm used to. Sports have always been a part of my life from the very beginning. As legend goes, I was only, I think, 2 weeks old when I first attended a sibling sporting event. And the chances are that I took my first steps or said my first words on the sidelines of a soccer field somewhere. As the youngest of 5 children, my family has always been a major influence on my life, and athletics is no exception. My sister Sudie, who's here, she was an accomplished equestrian, and my brothers McMahon and Marshall, who are here today too, as well as my brother Tucker, were football and lacrosse standouts at St. Christopher's. It was my 3 brothers who made me my first lacrosse stick out of a broom handle and a broken men's lacrosse head that they had duct taped together so that I could play with them in the yard when I was just a teeny little kid. Now, it was my parents who attended just about every game that I ever played. My mom proved to be my most vocal, I think, supporter, and many of y'all have experienced that here today, and she is my most vocal one. And so my dad, at a safe distance from the yelling, captured the action on his camera on the sidelines. To my parents, I just know how much you had experienced every single whistle, every shot that was taken, and every buzzer right there along with me. And I cannot thank you all enough for the support that you have shown me, both on and off the field throughout my life. I can still remember my excitement in 6th grade when I tried out for the winter track team, and for the very first time, I got to wear a St. Catherine's jersey, a real one, for a real school sport. I loved trying absolutely every field and sprint event that I could find, and so then, go figure, it was the shot put event that ended up earning me my first 2 varsity letters. I can't exactly be certain about this, but I think that I may have been the only 6th grade girl who got a shot put from her dad for Christmas that year. Just thinking that might be the case, so thank you, Dad. Remembering my excitement, it's been absolutely so much fun to see this year my oldest niece, Fielding, who introduced me here today, wearing a Saints jersey for the first time and absolutely dominating it on the middle school volleyball court. And I can't wait to see my other nieces who are here today, Wingrove and Emerson and Ashby, who are there in the back, when they follow their own paths in their futures here at St. Catherine's. Receiving this honor has given me such a fun and meaningful opportunity to look back at my time at St. Catherine's, and I see in particular that St. Catherine's is just so fortunate to have Julie Dayton as the athletic director here, as she has done so much to encourage and to cultivate the development not only of the athletic program, but the Saints community as a whole, so thank you for that. I was blessed with amazing coaches throughout my years at St. Catherine's, some of whom are here today. Actually, my fellow inductee and lacrosse coach, Claire, she just exuded this unbridled enthusiasm and positive energy for both life and the game of lacrosse. And I think Whitney shared some of that today too. Pair that with Mr. and Mrs. Stillwell, who are here as well. They were the assistant coaches there for lacrosse for a while, and they had this immense knowledge of lacrosse and this very steady temperament, except when the game got a little bit close there, and then the voice and the energy might rise. I know that I think Ms. Southworth is here today as well, and she was this saint, this very patient one to take in these 7th and 8th graders and teach them the rules of field hockey and lacrosse, and she was my first coach for field hockey, so I thank her for that. And then I believe Coach Warner is here as well. And so Coach Warner, he can tell you anything you want to know. He can teach you anything you want to learn about the game of field hockey, but he has a very unique brand of coaching style, I would say. So for example, for my senior year of field hockey, he instituted a 300-yard sprint immediately before every game. And the first 10 people to cross that line or get under a certain time were the ones who started the game. So he didn't have a starting lineup that year until maybe 30 seconds before the game would start, I think it was. I had played every minute of every game since my freshman year until my senior year when I had to earn my starting spot back. And it took me about half a season after that injury, but eventually I got it. It was during that same year that our field hockey team went on to win the state championship, but not before some bumps along the way. We traveled to top-ranked Norfolk Academy for a regular season game, and we played absolutely terribly. I think we lost 5-0. It was embarrassing. So then you fast forward to November, and it's the semifinals of the state tournament, and who should we be up against again but Norfolk Academy? The game went back and forth, and no team was able to pull ahead, and we finally were able to earn this penalty corner. And here was our chance to use our set play that we had practiced over and over again so that nothing could possibly go wrong. Well, everything went wrong. The stopper missed the ball. The backup stopper was then supposed to inject to the right, but instead she panicked and passed it to me on the left, which made me panic, and I just smacked it as hard as I could towards the goal. And somehow a teammate on the post pops in, deflects it in the goal, and I swear I will never hear a more satisfying thunk than when that ball hit the backwood on that goal. You know, we held off Norfolk Academy for the rest of that game, and the next game we went on to defeat St. Stephen's St. Agnes in the finals 2-0 and got our championship that year. And that story brings me to what I think I love most about my time here as an athlete at St. Catherine's. The teams, the lessons, the community. Athletics taught me about handling success just as much as it taught me about handling failure, about breaking down problems and attacking them step by step and skill by skill, about adapting to unforeseen circumstances, about balancing patience with action, or choosing to have confidence over anxiety, which is very helpful for today. About how it's only perfect practice that leads to perfection. That was Warner's, thank you, Warner. It is these experiences behind me that have helped to shape me into the person that I am today, and I will continue to carry these lessons forward with me throughout my lifetime. So to St. Catherine's, thank you for all you have given me and for what you continue to give to the generations that have followed and will follow. And thank you all for this honor here today. Go Saints.
Awesome comments. I could hang on their words all day long. I am a little tunnel visioned with athletics, though. I mean, really, why would you get out of bed if you didn't have sports? Right? This is what it's all about right here today. Presenting Claire Parrish-Smith, class of 94, is her St. Catherine's coach, Sally Stillwell, class of 81. There's a lot of connections here today.
Good afternoon. First, I want to recognize 3 of the inductees who I had the pleasure of coaching, Carrington, Kit, and Whitney. You 3 and Claire, who I'm about to introduce, your contributions to the athletic program at St. Catherine's were profound. You all were remarkable athletes on and off the field, and I'm incredibly proud of you guys. But I am here to introduce Claire. Claire's accomplishments, as you've heard from the 2 other inductees, on the athletic field at St. Catherine's were remarkable. She played field hockey, soccer, and lacrosse. She was an all-LIS star in soccer as a sophomore, all-LIS in soccer and lacrosse as a junior, and all-LIS in field hockey, soccer, and lacrosse as a senior. She captained soccer and lacrosse as a junior, and she captained all 3 teams as a senior. She went on to play lacrosse at UVA. The things that stands out most about Claire, 3 of things: her spirit, her passion, and her work ethic. Claire's spirit is boundless. Her energy and dedication remarkable. A teammate has been quoted calling her a spirit rod for their team. When Claire was a senior, our lacrosse team made it to the finals of the LIS championship of the LS tournament. And we had to travel to Charlottesville to take on Stab. We had to play Stab, tragically, 3 times that season. And the first, or 4 times that season, I think. The first 3, we got slaughtered. They were super good. So that the day of the game, it was a biology AP exam that day. And so Claire was very good at biology, had to take the exam. She went to take the exam. We had to wait for her to get on the bus to drive to Charlottesville. Linda Southworth remembers this day perfectly. And so Claire finishes the exam and comes running up to the bus and says, all is well. I did pretty well in the exam. I didn't know one of the questions. So in my blue book, back in the day, I drew a lacrosse field and I've reviewed all the plays. So we're going to be just fine. So we get on the bus, and Whitney was on the bus. We get on the bus, and we are driving to Charlottesville the day, it was before cell phones, and our bus breaks down on the way to Charlottesville. And so I have to sit there and pick. We had 14 seniors on the team that year. I had to pick kids to get off the bus, to get in the cars behind us. Russ Parker and Peter Parrish probably would have strapped half the kids to the roof of their car to get us there, because I knew Mary Blake King would have the clock running and would say, well, do you guys really need time to warm up? When we got there, and we wanted to win. And so we put kids in the cars and drove to Charlottesville and got on that field and beat Stab that year. And Claire was one of the kids who said, don't take me, I'll sit here with the bus. They're gonna come get us. They're gonna come rescue us. Somebody will come. One of the parents had to drive back to Richmond to get Linda, I think this is what happened, to bring a bus up to rescue those kids, to bring them to Charlottesville. Claire said, I'll stay behind. And I'm thinking to myself, you can't stay behind. You and Whitney are leading our team to this championship. But her selflessness in that moment was Claire. I mean, that's who she was. So we all get on the bus, we go to Charlottesville, and we win this game. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not sure that there's a better moment athletically for me. I played a lot of sports in my life than this moment with these kids to win that championship. It was remarkable. So after that came time, what's going to happen next for these kids? 2 of the most remarkable athletes I've ever coached. Where are they going next? And so Whitney decides to go to W&L, and Claire was just hell-bent on going to UVA. That's where she was going to go. She wasn't going to look anywhere else. So she goes to UVA, and she plays for a new coach who has just come in, and nothing was going to stop her. And so she arrived at UVA, and she became a decorated student body leader on campus, 4-year varsity lacrosse player. And Julie is actually a friend of mine as well as Whitney's. And Julie said to me recently, she said, Claire's talents on the field were solid, but yet surpassed by how she lifted a team and brought a team together through humility, hard work, and passion for lacrosse and her teammates. In 1996, Claire became the first ever Betty Yates Award winner, which is a team award that goes to the most dedicated, unselfish player on the team. She always thought of others before herself and put the needs of the team ahead of hers, almost to a fault. Now, this was Julie's comment. Keep in mind, Claire didn't play very much at UVA. She played in the Richmond game. She was an attacker who her senior year put on the goalie pads and played in the Richmond game on a team that was ranked 1 in the country. I mean, the pressure for that was remarkable, but Claire was willing to do it. And she was that kind of person. And now Claire has been able to take all of her talents and passions, love of learning, sharing, and teaching, and carve out a career with Knowles. Fits her to a T. After graduating from UVA, she taught and coached at Stab, and then taught at St. Christopher's and coached at St. Catherine's. She won the Faculty of the Year award at St. Christopher's in 2006. And then I was fortunate to become her assistant coach when Carrington was on the team. And she was the LIS Coach of the Year in 2007. Whether she's coaching, guiding students through tough terrain on an outdoor expedition, or simply spending time with her friends and family, Claire approaches all facets of life with optimism, enthusiasm, selflessness, and a true love of life and all that it has to offer. As Julie Myers said, She is a giver first and a winner always. A person everyone wants to meet and get to know. She is legit awesome. So it's my great pleasure to announce that, to present Claire, who's about to be with us via video, I believe.
Hi, I'm Claire Parrish-Smith, and I would like to say thank you for this wonderful honor. I'm so sorry I couldn't be with you today. Thank you for Sally for the wonderful introduction. I hope it was wonderful. And I want to start by saying congratulations to all of the other nominees or honorees here today. They are Augusta, Natalie, Charlotte, Whitney, Carrington, and Kit. You know, I am humbled to be in the same group as all of you. You have done amazing things, and congratulations. I want to spend the next few minutes just talking about the 10 things that got me here to the St. Catherine's Hall of Fame. 1, my parents. My parents are my biggest fans, have always been my biggest fans, and they have done everything to support me in sports and in life. They did things like provide gear for field hockey, soccer, lacrosse, and diving. They supported me when I had teenage temper tantrums after disappointing losses. They kept me grounded, reminding me what was important, and they were at all my games, whether I was playing or not. I still wish my father could be here. He would be so proud and so happy, and I'm thinking of you, Dad. 2, my brother. I think my love for sports started when I was very small, like 5 or 6, and my big brother let his little sister join in the neighborhood football games. My hands were too small to hold the football or to throw the football, but I could run and I could tackle. And my brother always let me play on his team and let me play football, and I am so appreciative. Thanks, Ned. 3, St. Catherine's. St. Catherine's provided me so many opportunities to learn and develop as an athlete. They supported me through 4 sports. I can remember leaving field hockey practice so that I could go to diving practice, and I just am really appreciative of all the support and the learning opportunities that St. Catherine's gave me. Set me up very well for college and beyond. My teammates, what would I do without my teammates? They are the reason that I played sports. They are my best friends, whether it was sprinting on the green or wearing our kilts to class or just riding the bus to Norfolk Academy. They made it fun, and that is the reason I played sports. So there's one teammate in particular I need to talk about, and that is Whitney Parker Kestner now. She's also an honoree today, and she was my classmate and my co-captain for field hockey and lacrosse, at least our senior year, maybe our junior year. She is an amazing human being who developed Whitney as a high school athlete. We complemented each other's styles really well. So I was the short, scrappy attacker, and she was the tall, graceful, thoughtful, smart defender. She made me look good on the field every single day, and I tried to reciprocate. Congratulations, Whitney. My coaches, what would I do without my coaches? My coaches saw something in me and believed in me before I even had learned to believe in myself. They instilled in me a love for the game and a work ethic that comes in handy every single day. These days I do a lot of hiking in the mountains and take beginners into the mountains for rock climbing, and gosh, the work ethic I'm reminded of the work ethic every day. Some of the coaches that I need to mention are Mr. Blanton, Keith Kopecki, Linda Southworth, Tim Ryan, Brian Marr, Julie Myers, Jane Miller. And probably the 2 most influential coaches of my life were Sally and Charlie Stillwell. These people went above and beyond to help a short, scrappy, hyperactive teenager find success on the lacrosse field and in life. I cannot express how grateful I am to those two for the endless amount of hours that they have invested in me. So thank you, Charlie, and thank you, Sally. Collegiate and St. Anne's Belfield. Not funny, I know, but these schools always provided amazing competition. They helped me learn how to lose with grace, and they taught me how sweet victory could be. And two athletes embodied this rivalry, Stuart Cawthorn and Dixie Hurst. I hated them on the field. They were fierce competitors, and yet I very much respected their tenacity, their ability, and their spirit on the field. And finally, sports. Sports. What would I do without sports? I would be a completely different person without sports. Sports has taught me three main things that I use almost every day in life. The first one is grit, or resiliency. Sports taught me that no matter how hard I try, I'm never going to win every time. So it taught me how when I fail, how I need to get back up, dig deep, and keep going. That was one thing. The second thing was teamwork. At Knowles, which is where I work these days, we call it expedition mentality, but it's the same thing. It's realizing that you're a small piece in a bigger whole, trying to reach a goal. And so you need to do what you can do to help others succeed, help your teammates succeed, and you need to remember that your actions and your attitude affect the whole group. You're just a small piece in a bigger machine. And then the third thing is just a love for being active and a love for physical challenge. I love how my body feels when every muscle hurts from something. Nowadays it's rock climbing and mountain biking and long hiking days in the mountains, but the feeling is the same and it feels wonderful. So that's all I have. Thank you so much for listening. I wish I could be there today, and congratulations to all the other honorees.
Claire is unique. She's high energy. Presenting Kit Murphy-Zook, class of 2001, is her St. Catherine's coach, Don Warner.
Awesome. I'd like to thank everybody for this opportunity to introduce Kit. Just been sitting for a while, so give me just a little bit of time. All right. Thanks. I met Kit Murphy as an 8th grade physical education student. I thought to myself, this kid's a game changer. She could naturally pick up a stick and swing it with the best of them. Kit could also throw, catch, kick, run, swim, you name it. She could do it. Kit would soon become a 3-sport athlete at St. Catherine's, and game changer doesn't come close to describing Kit's effect on our program. Over a series of seasons, Kit helped define both our direction and our culture. Kit had similar impact at Washington and Lee. Today, Kit is based out of New York as a director of global funds manager. As a physical education teacher, I have no idea exactly what a global funds manager does, but it's impressive. I'm 100% certain of that. Her current playing field is truly worldwide. Kit continues to be that game changer. Thanks, Kit, for allowing me to introduce you this afternoon. Kit's impact on our hockey program was immediate. Within weeks of her first start, she was scoring goals against both Trinity and Covenant, while our defensive efforts helped keep the ball at the back of our net. Her sophomore contributions helped stake our team to a 10-6-4 record. Kit continued to produce in the offensive end her junior year. She scored game winners against St. Anne's, Durham Academy, and in the overtime state semifinal win against St. Stephen St. Agnes. Those efforts helped lift our team to a 15-6-2 record. Kit raised the bar even more her senior year. She scored the deciding goal against public school champion Princess Anne and added more assists, goals, and game winners to her stats before the year was out. Perhaps more important, opponents began to avoid her, and then they just simply put, avoided her completely. Kit's defensive play in our midfield forced them to our strong side and into the capable hands of our teammates. Her efforts helped secure a season that would finish 25-2 and include a 22-game winning streak in both LIS and state championships. I'd like to share some thoughts from her former teammates, opponents, and coaches. Lexi Martirosian wrote, and I have to admit I cut a little bit of this out. Lexi can be wordy. Kit is the ideal teammate. She never complains, always gets the job done with unselfish and consistent effort. In short, she is exceedingly reliable. She continues to have those exceptional traits today. Jenny Turner and Ginger McAdams wrote, only Kitty could step onto the field with pristine form, hardcore determination, intelligence behind every pass, and calculated moves that led her to such success, and then walk off the field like it was nothing, jumping right in as a life of the party with her witty sense of humor and laid-back attitude. She has always been that person who you could count on to show up and be consistent in everything she does. She is a true 100%er who always does whatever it takes to get the job done, is a great teammate, and an amazing friend. Tess wrote, as a leading bench warmer, I took my job very serious. Kit was always by my side, and we often practiced our greatest hits, be aggressive, and peel bananas, very loudly on the bus. Just as with everything in life, Kit dominated those cheers. And to this day, whenever I write aggressive, is with Kit's cheer in mind, B-E, aggressive. Collegiate graduate, I mean, we got compliments coming from the Cougs as well. It's like pulling teeth sometimes, kids. Long before I had the pleasure of calling her my teammate, SB Northern wrote, we were fierce competitors in field hockey and lacrosse in Richmond. She was mesmerizing even in high school. And lastly, Sally, who just left us, her lacrosse coach at St. Catherine's, shared similar praise for her two-time captain. Pure and simple, Kit was one of the best athletes I've ever coached. Kit has a gritty determination and a dogged competitiveness, which makes her a masterful defender on her lacrosse team. Her drive was infectious, and her skill was exceptional. In the opinion of many, Kit Murphy-Zug embodies the very essence of what coaches, teachers, teammates, and opponents care to share and strive to become. She truly embodies what our school motto, both on and off the field, says, what we keep, we lose. Only what we give remains our own. And Kit continues to give everything she has. Once again, I am honored to have this opportunity to introduce Kit to this awesome day. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for the warm reception and Coach Warner for the incredible introduction. It was very touching. Thank you. So I'd like to start by thanking the St. Catherine's Athletic Department, Alumni Association, and Hall of Fame Committee for this great honor. And Julie, Jennifer, and Bethany, and all those involved in putting together this beautiful luncheon today, thank you. To the other inductees, congratulations. It is an absolute privilege and a great honor to be recognized here alongside each of you today, one I will always cherish. Since I received Julie's email about today's induction, I've been reflecting a lot about my athletic career. I enjoyed reliving so many memories, from Coach Southworth teaching us how to open the gate, close the gate to perfect our lacrosse cradles, to having the privilege of serving as a co-captain in lacrosse as a senior. But what has really resonated with me, above all, is how my participation in athletics prepared me for my future, positioning me for so many of the successes I've enjoyed to date, both professionally and personally. This is because sports convey important skills and lessons about teamwork, leadership, and hard work, skills that I draw on every day in the working world and in life. And of course, I first learned these skills as an athlete at St. Catherine's. As I think about this, I'm automatically drawn back to that 2000 field hockey season. In preseason that year, the seniors huddled together and we decided this was the year we were going to take home the state title, whatever it took. Warner provided the strategy, taught us to be smart and skillful players, helped reform our weaknesses, and motivated us. And under his guidance, we pushed ourselves at practice. We stayed after until it was too dark to see the ball, perfecting our corners. Ginny, how you could ever make those stops, I still have no idea. We got to the point where we could feel where each other were on the field without even looking. And in the end, we found ourselves in the state title game, and we took home the title. The elation and, to a certain degree, the relief that I felt that day are feelings I will never forget. But what I remember most vividly about that day and that season is that teamwork, hard work, and solid coaching carried us to the dream. Now, all these years later, the importance of these skills sticks with me, and these skills have carried me through many a late night in the office and helped me succeed when the odds were stacked against me. So for the successes I have enjoyed to date, and certainly for this great honor today, I'd like to thank my teammates. I will forever remember our wins, our losses, and certainly our laughs. Your friendship, leadership, commitment, and dedication over the years were and continue to be inspiring, and I would not be up here today without you. My parents for literally chauffeuring me to thousands of practices and games, from swim practices at age 5 through to that final lacrosse game in Salisbury, Maryland. You were always there for me. Thank you for your sacrifices, for your love, and your steadfast support. My brother, for always letting me tag along when we were kids and pushing me to keep up in many a backyard game. My husband, Chris, who played soccer at University of Richmond, for letting my athletic drive and spirit continue to flourish and being the best Ironman training partner I could ask for. Sorry I won't be able to race with you this year. I hope our kids will one day share our love of sports and know that you will be a great tutor of all of life's lessons, both on and off the field. And of course, my coaches, Sally Stillwell, for giving me the confidence to play with the older girls when I was still scrawny, for eventually convincing me, after much pushback at my side, to truly believe that I could play at the college level. I'm quite certain there's no way I would have gotten into Washington and Lee without you, but being an athlete at W&L was truly a life-changing experience, and I thank you for helping to make that possible. Warner, for teaching me that the only way to excel in competition was to practice how you want to play and never back down, that we could compete with and beat the best if we put our minds to it and didn't wear bows in our hair. That wearing a school uniform is a privilege, not a right, one that has to be earned every single day, and for knowing exactly how to push my buttons to get me to fight. You taught me so many lessons that I still draw on every single day. So Sally and Warner, thank you both for your work to position me and so many St. Catherine's athletes for success in life. Your efforts are deeply appreciated and can never be repaid. In closing, I want to thank all those in this room. And I swear I didn't see Warner's speech before saying this, but your actions to support our student athletes embody the spirit of St. Catherine's and our school motto. What we keep, we lose, and only what we give remains our own. So thank you for giving your support and energy to our athletes, making the lessons of sports possible for each girl who dons the gold and white for St. Catherine's. Thank you again for this honor, and go Saints.
Well, how's everybody doing? My heart's pounding, like with excitement. Anyway, I just want to say congratulations again to all these amazing women who those who helped pave the way for people as young as me, and for those who have laid the foundation for the. Thank you for getting that. I came to St. Catherine's when I was 12. I've been there 20 years. You do the math. For those who have helped lay the foundation for the next generation, like those nieces of Carringtons and things like that. So anyway, we really appreciate everyone being here, because a day like this is only special if everyone who matters to us comes and shares it with us. I thank our school administration for being here, Terry, Sue B, and again, all the help who provided it. Great speeches. I will watch it on video again, I'm sure, several times, and you all can also see it on video if you'd like. But thank you again for being here, And think about, go Saints whenever you can. I hope something in today reignited your love for St. Catherine's. Seems like it did. And just know that the school is moving at, the sound of speed, and there's a lot going on. And if you want to come and take a tour and find out all that we're doing and where we're moving, we'd love to have you come back and check everything out. Anyway, we do thank our Cougar friends for being here today. We forgive them for the mistakes they've made in the past. And thank you all again for being here. So go Saints, have a great day, enjoy the company, and feel free to come back to campus anytime. Congratulations.